Hello and welcome to the Sewing Studio. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to make a scrappy binding for your quilt. So if you're a quilter and you've been quilting for a long time, you'll often find that when you get to the end of binding a quilt, you have a piece left over. What do you do with these pieces? Well, I save mine because it's already measured at 2.5 inches and it's been pressed in half. So I save them all up and I keep them in this tin. And then when you've got a quilt that you want to put a scrappy binding on, it's perfect. You've got all these lovely little bits ready. And when I looked in my tin, I realised how many I've done with purple. I've got quite a lot of odd bits of purple left. So I've got a quilt here, which I put a scrappy binding on, but I used the scraps from the quilt. So you'll see on this one, it's actually the colours that's in this quilt that I've used for my binding. But today I'm going to make a binding out of all the bits and pieces to go on to this little lap quilt here. So I've made some already. So what I did first of all was I measured the quilt. So I knew how much I wanted. And this quilt is 30.5 inches square, 30.5 inches. So I worked out how much I'm going to need. So I'm going to need 122 inches. So I've started to make it already from the pieces that I had. And you can see that I've already done this and I've joined them at a 45-degree angle. So I've just got one more piece to join and I'm going to show you how to do that today, and then I'm going to pin it onto the quilt. So I'm probably going to go with that bit of pink, I think. I'm just going to measure that to make sure that it is going to be enough. Oh yeah, that's plenty. That's going to take my measurement over what I need. So don't throw away any of your binding bits. So I'm going to join this. I'll just open it up for a minute. And you join it at a 45-degree angle. So I'll lay that one over there. Let me come up so you can see it a bit better. So I put that one over there like that. And then I'll just bring that corner down to there and just finger press it so I've got the mark to sew it on. So I'm just going to go to the machine now and sew down that line. So I'm just going to sew down on this line here that I pressed. And then, as you can see, if I flip that back, we've got our 45-degree angle. Just get rid of that thread. So what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to cut away here. So I've still got my 1/4 inch seam so that I get rid of all this bulk as I flip it back. So I'm just going to cut that away. It's always worth checking you've got it round the right way because I've made that mistake before. And then flip it over and you can see. And then I'm just going to go to the iron and press it. And with these, normally you press your seams flat. But when I'm doing scrappy binding, I open my seams. So I'm going to press that and fold it. And because that was already pressed, because it was a bit left over, it doesn't need too much pressing. There we are. And now it's ready to attach to my quilt. So you just attach it in the normal way, leaving a bit of a tail for when you come to join your two pieces. So I'm going to start pinning from here. I'll just do the first bit. So I'm going to carry on pinning all the way around, and then I'm going to sew that onto my quilt. And that is how you use up all your little scraps and make a beautiful scrappy binding. Thank you for watching, have fun, and I look forward to seeing you next time here in the sewing studio.